Welcome back, everyone, to our quick overview study guide of the book of Luke. We're in chapter 14, and here we're having, they're eating, and it's on the Sabbath, and they're talking. Jesus asked the Pharisees a question: is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not? And they couldn't answer. Which one of you will have a son or an ox fall into a well and will not immediately pull him out on a Sabbath day? They didn't make any reply to this because earlier there was a man in front of them, someone from dropsy. I forget what disease this is or what. It's not a disease. I forget what it is. It's not like a flu. It's more of like a paralyzing type. I forget what you call it. It's not an illness. It's a condition. But here Jesus is saying, look, you give all this attention and you put things in front of people, and these are your people too. And the lesson here again is the same pretty much throughout, is like, look, this is a tradition, but these are people. This is one of you that's suffering. You would go rescue one of your ox on the Sabbath or your son, but not a brother. And then he gets into a parable, and here they use the word wedding feast. That's something to pay attention to, because throughout the New Testament, there's this idea, there's this vision that's being created of this wedding feast, and it's told many different ways. But they keep hitting on the same points. And here, the point is, you come in and you want to take the high spot, but how about someone tells you to move to a lower spot? But if you sit at a lower spot, you get the higher spot. I think this is pretty self-explanatory in that if you humble yourself, it won't be necessary to be humbled by someone else, probably by God, is what he's saying. Right? So don't walk around like you own the joint. It's not very neighborly, is it? To think that way. The mindset that person may have. You see this in our times with guests and things like that. They always assume that they're going to get the good spot. But you're to do that. Now here it's pretty interesting. And I hate to beat this horse again, but dead horse. But he says, for you will be repaid at the resurrection. Because he's talking about things. He's talking about wealth. He's talking about giving. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's not true today. And you're going to have to figure that out for yourself. But here, he's specifically saying, you will be repaid for the resurrection, which is soon coming, probably 40 years after the statement of the righteous. When one of those who were reclining at the table with him heard this, he said to him, blessed is everyone who will, future tense, eat bread in the kingdom of God. That could mean a lot of things. That could mean this person, whomever it is, doesn't say, blesses everyone who eats bread in the kingdom of God. Now, if this is an earthly event, then they must be expecting the kingdom of God coming, which is a theme in the New Testament. The kingdom of God is at hand. I can manually bring it in for you because I'm Jesus and I have the authority to do so. But the system itself is not here yet. It could mean that. Or again, it could be these are Jews, apparently. Bless everyone who will eat bread in the kingdom of God. It could be talking about heaven, what we refer to as heaven. But then in the next chapter, he actually uses the word heaven. So it's kind of, it can be confusing at some point when they use these terms. And that's why it's not always good to sit here and just make a determination of what you think it is. It's good to stay open-minded. Even if you think you got it nailed down pretty good, always be aware that and have the mindset that it might be something else. We don't know everything. Not even really that important. But if you say it is, and you go around saying that's what it is, it could go against you in a negative way. You see what I'm saying? You could be saying something that's not true. So always be open. Just say, well, like I do, more than likely it's something like this. It could be, it could not be. We don't really know. But my theory is that the kingdom of God came, just like Luke said it was when we get into chapter 21, right around the same time in sequence as the New Jerusalem is said to come in. And that would be closer to the sacking of Jerusalem in 70 after death, AD. Here we have, another pericope about a man giving a big dinner, inviting people. They didn't want to come. These analogies do all tie in. I know they're a little confusing, but I just want you to read them for yourselves. And just remember, he's trying to drive the same point just in different ways. But it seems different sometimes, especially in other places in other books. It's like, wow, he's saying something. You think he's saying the same thing, but you can't quite get your head around it. It's fine. Just understand what you can, read what you can, and again, be open. We have the disciple where, disciple. If anyone comes to me and hates his own father or mother or brothers, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And it's funny, people will say, well, if you hate your parents, that's a sin. And it's not really what he's saying here. I think most people would agree that what he's saying here is, look, if you love these people more than God, that's a problem. You're not fit for the kingdom of God, which it doesn't say here, but it says in other places. Here it says, cannot be my disciple, as Luke's describing it. But he's saying, look, if you like things more than me, if you like things more than the gospel of God and God himself, it's just not going to work out for you. So you don't have to hate. They use this word hate your parents. But in all honesty, I would say if you put them above me, the gospel, and God himself, you're not fit. So I know that can be confusing. Again, giving up his possessions, people think they have to give everything away. That's for you to decide, right? And he is talking to Jews, and you can make all the excuses you want. It's not abundantly clear what exactly he's talking about and if it applies to us today.